Okay, so James, I know today you wanted me to talk about some sort of old Marvel TV series or something.
Sure.
But I was just thinking, you have like quite a big audience here, and I just wanted to pitch my young adult fantasy series.
Okay.
To the listeners, maybe get some money folks involved.
This isn't really the platform for this.
I know.
Oh, okay, good.
But I want to get
yeah.
rich quick. Because, you know, there's the Hunger Games and there's like Divergent and there's all those kind of things. Well, it's a series about this cruel, uncaring society, right? Like the peasants, they all work their fingers to the bone, right?
Yeah.
In service of this royal family who don't care about them at all, right?
Okay.
And also in the society, there's this weird ritual. When you become an adolescent, you're forced into it, right? Where it unlocks your sort of secret special power. And you don't know what it is, but if you get a cool power, like if you can shoot lasers out of your hands,
Butterfly wings, maybe?
if you can fly, that'd be incredible.
You've got a projector head, your face is like a literal projector.
Listen, how about this? How about we go, if you get a cool power, you get to live in luxury, you know, with the royal family and with the elites.
Yeah, cool.
But if you get a weird power, like the projector thing you had, or like you become some sort of, you know, horrible mutant through no fault of your own, well, they send you underground to work in the mines until you die.
Question.
Yes?
Is the thing you're mining for is the thing that also transforms you into a horrible monster or a special royal person?
James, that's a great idea.
Thank you.
Because you could be the cause of your own destruction.
That means I get royalties for this because I had an idea.
Andy's going to edit this. Son of a... Okay, but here's the thing, right? We're going to need one man, right? One special man.
Okay.
But he's special because he didn't get any powers, right?
That is special. That's like me.
Gets-
I'm not special.
Yeah. But he doesn't get sent down to the mines because he's the brother of the king.
Yeah, right.
And so he eventually realizes that the society he lives in is like cruel and unjust and it's working out really badly for people. So he goes to his family and he says, we should use our powers and our resources to go to a nearby land where we can all live free and we don't have to toil anymore. But his family are like, no, we like it the way things are. We think it's cool exactly the way it is. So what he does, he gets a bunch of like the peasants together and he forms a force, like a rebellion, right?
Okay.
And then they're going to raise weapons up against the royal family and they're
Good.
going to take the society back for the people. Anyway, James, I think he's going to be a really great villain. What do you reckon about that?
That's. I mean, what a story.
Right?
What an idea.
Well, see, because I was thinking...
I want it on IMAX.
Because you know how, like, in the movie Black Panther...
Sure.
The villain Killmonger, he's so compelling because you listen to what he says, you think to yourself, is he right? So I was thinking the way to make an even more compelling villain is to have him be completely right. Like absolutely right and just say the right things and do what he can to make things better for you know, just the normal regular people. Because you'd be watching the show and you'd be like, why have they made him a villain? This is very compelling.
I think they made him a villain because he was a villain in Game of Thrones. So they went, that'll just translate,
James,
right?
what are you talking about? I'm talking about my hypothetical fantasy series.
Mason, I hate to break it to you, but they made this show and it was really terrible.
What was it called?
It was called Inhumans.
Oh yeah, we watched that together. Oh, that's where I got my idea.
Caravan of Garbage is back, baby. I mean,
That's
you saw
right.
it in the thumbnail and the description.
Woo!
We're back for the new year.
That was parody or satire. I don't know. It was one of those. But yeah, we watched. The weirdest premise of this show is that the villain is trying to do the right thing. But here's the difference.
What's the difference?
The royal family are the good guys.
Yeah.
Because they've got all the cool powers, as I mentioned, and they're sexy.
They're pretty sexy, aren't
Right?
they?
And the others are a bunch of uggos. Like, imagine being the hero of a bunch of uggos. Projector eyes, weird hands.
With crab claw hands.
Right? Yuck.
A guy that can see the future, but fuck you, get in the mine, you dumb bitch.
Where are your wings, you bitch?
What's
You wingless bitch.
What's better? Butterfly wings or seeing the future? If one of those two had to go in the mine,
Yeah.
come on.
Right?
Do you reckon they keep the projector head guy in a cupboard?
Yes.
Like an actual projector?
100%, yes. So anyway, if you haven't seen this is a TV series that initially debuted in IMAX cinemas, the first 2 episodes.
Shockingly.
We saw them both.
Yeah.
And then we didn't watch the rest of the series.
No.
And then it was cancelled. But we revisited the first 2 episodes because we're like, is it as bad as we remember? Yeah.
It might be worse.
Yeah, it might be worse. Hasn't
So-
aged well.
Seeing this as well on a regular TV, this is not equipped for IMAX in any way. And I know the people behind IMAX running it were like, this is kind of insulting that you gave us this.
Well, because like very early on in the first episode, there is an attempt to do like IMAX quality camera work, like you see somebody run through the forest and all the raindrops are dripping down and it's in kind of slow-mo, but then there's like a really terrible CGI waterfall that's very obviously been like drawn in post.
The guy with the big green head.
Big green head guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it just falls into like regular TV stuff after about 5 minutes.
Well, do you know though, I'll leave it like, Look, you're supposed to. It's important. The road to this becoming a TV show or an IMAX exclusive,
yeah.
whatever, however it started. It was an interesting one because they were kind of strong-armed into making this a movie. It's the only Marvel movie that was, lined up in the slate that they didn't make.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked about how other companies like, your DCs and your Valiants, they're always announcing these new properties and then people get fired, they fall by the wayside. It's the same with like Star Wars, you know what I mean? They're constantly firing.
Yeah, but Marvel's been very consistent about it, except for this one thing where they're like...
exactly.
Oof.
So it was supposed to be the 11th movie. It was an Ike Perlmutter idea. By the way, if you don't know what Ike Perlmutter looks like, here's that very sinister image of him standing with Trump. Look, I say sinister because there's really no other way you could describe this. You've seen this image, right?
Oh, I've seen it, yeah.
It's very sinister.
Very.
Not to get political.
Yeah.
Maybe there was ominous music over that picture. That's not up to me. That's the picture doing that.
Right? That's in your head from looking at it.
That's right. Ben, the editor, didn't do that. That was just in there. Very sinister.
And not to get political, but this show is all about, like, stay in your lane.
Stay in your fucking lane.
If you're poor, if you don't rise above your station, don't do it.
What
Rich people are your betters.
Exactly. Yeah, the idea was that they were going to minimize the X-Men and the Fantastic Four in merch, in TV shows, in video games, because they didn't own the cinematic rights to those at the time.
So they were going to sink him.
That's right. So they were going to big up the Inhumans. They were going to become the new, extreme cool powers fighting force.
The New Mutants.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. They got a big push on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Much better than this, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And so it was rumored, though, that Kevin Feige stepped around Ike Perlmutter to be like, this guy's controlling budgets. He's pushing this weird movie that I don't want to make. He was also the one who said that, he didn't think Black Panther would make any money or Captain Marvel. These things wouldn't sell. But also to recast Rhodey because nobody would notice. Like, that's the kind of guy that we're dealing with.
Real cool dude.
So it eventually got, pushed to television. He still got to make it.
And IMAX.
And I'm sorry.
And since then, it's been pushed to Disney Plus in like a weird side cabinet. In order to access it, we needed the 2-key system to unlock it. And we're the first 2 people who've watched it, I think.
Kudos to Disney Plus, though.
There's that real Get Smart corridor of additional doors before you can get to it.
Just a bunch of parental locks, but it's not parental locks. It's just like, are you sure?
Yeah, there's
what are you doing? You can turn around.
Mickey Mouse is in the last one. He's like, are you sure? Guys. He puts his big
Don't
glove out.
do this. Please, I'm begging you. Though, to be fair, kudos to Disney. It's kind of amazing that it's on here.
Yeah, they could have got rid of it.
It's so bad. Yeah.
We've only watched the first 2 episodes.
That's
Maybe
true.
it takes a jump.
The other thing...
Off a waterfall.
But to be fair, they didn't put any effort into it. For one, it's kind of difficult to find. And also, there's no recap at the start of each episode. It's just
That's true.
doesn't matter. Just finish it. Just get through it, all right? Yeah.
Anyway, the Inhumans... Yeah, they're a genetic offshoot of humanity.
Yep.
They moved to the moon back in the day.
What a spectacular location. I hope they've got a whole lot of amazing moon-esque technology they can show for us.
Apartments?
Yep.
Nice apartments.
Regular hair clippers.
That's right, I forgot about that. Oh my god. Oh, yep, you're right.
Actually, I've made a list of things that they have on the moon to make it really spectacular.
Do you think they send a guy down to get him? To
They
Earth?
must.
Because they have the technology. They can either use a shuttle or a teleporting dog.
So they've got regular apartments, wrist communicators, which turn into telephones.
Cool.
Pillows, potted plants, headphones, guns. I saw a fork at one point.
Okay. You're expecting some sort of weird moon fork.
Remember that episode of Red Dwarf where they sit with that guy at the table, Legion, is it?
Oh, yeah.
And he's got those magic wavy super forks.
Good point. They
Something
should,
like that
have
is all I'm
super
saying.
forks, shouldn't they? Yeah.
There's haircuts such as spraying a black line into your blonde hair. Also, it's terrible resource management because I'd imagine there's not a lot of water on the moon and they've just got a pond. There's just a pond there.
Good point. Well, the rich people have a pond.
The
Poor people don't have a pond.
They're in a ditch.
They
They wash in a ditch.
That's right. With ditch dirt.
That's right.
Not even water.
So I just also want to touch on the amazing display of unique powers and how people get allocated, because even though it is a society where the amazing people are supposed to go into the amazing royal group, it obviously doesn't work that way. There's a guy who's got cow hooves, and I guess he's sort of strong. He's the dumbest
He's
man.
very good looking.
Yeah, okay, so that's part of it too.
I think so too.
Yeah, you might be right. But also, why is Hoofman, who's got super strength, better than the guy with crab claw lizard hands who's good at digging? It's the good looking thing, isn't it?
It's the good looking thing, and also, as you mentioned, he can't hold a fork. How's he gonna go? How's he gonna be at a posh dinner, at a little dinner party with the royals, trying to hold a canapé with his crab claws? Ridiculous.
Exactly. I also think, like, it's not terribly cast, but I don't think there's some very good performances or even, like, expression of what the characters are supposed to be. Because, like you mentioned, the good guys are very unlikable. And I know, like, the bad guy is also, like, there's one scene where it's like, he's a creep. Because, you know, he's making a move.
But other people in this are a creep as well. The Karnak is, like, hitting on a servant and then saying he's going to murder her.
Yeah.
By the second afternoon, I'd want to kill you.
And he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's
allegedly.
a good guy. Exactly. Okay, I wanted to ask you about him specifically because he's got one of the very unique and interesting powers where he's got the Nicolas Cage Next powers. Have you ever seen the movie Next?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He can kind of project into the future where he's in, say, a fight scenario, and then he can, like, oh, okay, so that guy's going to shoot there, so I'll grab this guy. Oh, no, I got shot. That didn't work. I'll reverse that, and now I'll do it this way.
He can sort of calculate fight probabilities, yeah.
But what happens to that guy?
He bumps his head.
So a guy who should never lose his footing because he can always see the future.
He slips and he bumps his head. That's right, yeah.
And then his powers don't work anymore.
Yeah. No, there's one location on the Earth that he can't see the future in, and it's like a foot-wide patch of dirt. Just didn't see it coming, you know?
So, yeah, a few of the New Mutants are sent down to Earth to find...
Do you mean Inhumans?
What? Shut up, Mason. Does it matter?
No.
Yeah, a few of them get sent to Earth on various missions or there to escape. And one of them are the Cowhoof Man. Mm-hmm. They're like, if there's one person who can find the guy with the green head, Triton, it's this guy. He's one of the best. And the first thing he does is he walks into the ocean and nearly drowns.
Because he doesn't know what water is?
I mean, they've got that pond.
They've got the pond.
But it's only hoof high, so...
Yeah, right.
But, like, if I saw, like, a big rolling, like, mass of liquid and I'd never seen that before, I probably would walk into it.
Well, it's interesting that the Inhumans that end up on Earth, despite the fact that they've been surveilling Earth for, it seems like, hundreds or thousands of years, they don't know anything about what happens on Earth or any of the customs of Earth. At one point, Black Bolt, the leader of the Inhumans, walks into he wants to go undercover.
He's the dumbest person in this, by the way.
And it's partly because he can't talk and partly because of his, like...
No, I think he's just dumb.
He seems very dumb, but he goes into because he wants to go undercover, so he's smart enough to know that his Inhumans royal garb is a little bit out of place. So he just walks into a clothing store and he puts on a suit and then he just walks out without paying for it.
You don't understand currency? Like, you don't have currency where you're from?
You've just got working in the mines.
Yeah. But the other thing is, he walks out and then immediately gets, captured by the police because he stole a suit. Yeah, his initial idea was, I'm going deep undercover. I'm going to wear a sexy, cool Earth suit. Not this. I guess it's like an X-Men costume, isn't it? It's like
really
a Bryan Singer X-Men costume. But he's an absolute...
Still think I'm a Bryan Singer era X-Men cosplayer. Can't have that. Yuck.
The thing is as well, that guy shouldn't be king. For one, he killed his parents. I know it was an accident.
Hilarious scene.
Yeah, it is hilarious. Maybe that's why they let him, stay. That was pretty funny, actually.
Yeah.
You can be king. You're pretty funny.
Maybe we learn later on in the series, is this a critique of the royals? Because he's the king despite the fact he's dumb as a box of rocks. But not as ugly, he gets to be the king.
They probably run out of budget at the end and they just go, yeah, this was about the actual royal family. I don't know if you picked up on that, but we didn't paint them in a good light on purpose. We ran out of budget. That's why it's me, the normally mute guy, just telling you the moral of this story.
The big dog was Prince Charles or something. I don't know.
Or all the corgis lashed together or something like that or whatever. That is one good thing I can say about this show, just quickly. The big dog, for a television big dog, it looks pretty good.
Yeah. And there's a funny intro to the character where you're like, Crystal is like, hey, come here, Lockjaw, the dog. And you think it's going to be a little dog, but then it's a really big dog.
That's right. Very funny.
Very funny.
Funny like a man splattering his parents across the wall by talking at them. Why? Remember that?
Yeah,
That's good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that dog was pretty good though, apparently, and I can't confirm this, but for budgetary reasons, it really drops off in later episodes. You're not seeing it that much. But yeah, he doesn't understand shops. He doesn't understand photos, despite him having all sorts of technology on the moon where...
Projector eyes,
all that, and they've got regular screens and stuff.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand standing in traffic, so he doesn't understand big moving vehicles. Medusa...
And again, you said maybe he's part of the royal family. Yeah, but he knows that they don't know who he is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He knows that the people of Hawaii don't know he's the king.
Yeah.
So of course they're going to run him over.
And the other thing is...
Because he's a goose.
But it's strange because Medusa, his wife, she knows about cars and traffic, and she knows what a bus is, and she's like, where does this bus go or whatever? Take me back to wherever. Also, one of the things they made a point of, and to be fair, I like Anson Mount. I think he's
Yeah.
really good in Discovery.
That's right.
I think he's...
I'm glad he got another chance.
Me
after
too,
this.
because quite frankly, no good. But it's been mentioned that one of the ideas was that there would be a voiceover.
Yeah,
so you'd
right,
hear his thoughts, and they went, you know what, we want to be inclusive, so we're going to make this sign language, so for more inclusive, for our deaf viewers. But the thing is, as we discovered before the show, what's the twist on that?
It's not a real sign language. They made it up.
If they're speaking regular Earth English, it can just be one of the many variations on sign language.
Yeah.
If that's what you're aiming for, maybe don't just do lazy, hand tapping. Because it's nothing. There's no indication from what he's doing. You can't tell what he's saying unless someone's like, oh, he's saying this. Shut up. Shut your hands up. Also, if we're talking funny scenes, another one of the hilarious scenes is when Medusa gets her head shaved, and she's like, "Oh, my hair,
My terrible wig. In
and-
retrospect, one of the worst wigs.
They CGI some of it sometimes, but also their powers don't really reflect what they have in the comics because Black Bolt's got other stuff going on, something to do with that tuning fork on his head.
Yeah.
Medusa can
He's got perfect pitch.
he's got perfect pitch,
But if only he was allowed to sing, but he's not allowed to.
and he owns all the Pitch Perfect movies.
That's exactly right.
Thank you very
He
much.
was born with them.
But her hair's it's indestructible and it can stretch a very long distance and do all sorts of different tactile things. But here it's she can choke you if she's in hair distance.
Sure, yeah.
Which if that's the case, maybe grow your hair a little bit longer.
Split ends, though. Maybe she's got a problem
Maybe
with split ends.
that is the problem, yeah. But look, the thing is about this show, if you love people aimlessly wandering around Hawaii, this might be right up your alley,
Yeah.
I guess.
If you've ever watched the TV series Hawaii 5-0 and you're like, man, they really get a lot done solving all these crimes and such. I wish they didn't do anything like that. I wish their lives were meaningless ultimately.
Here's the thing, though. We're at a bit of a crossroads. We're at a dilemma, right? The thing is, I'm conflicted because should we finish this in another episode?
Right.
Should we come back?
Should we watch the remaining 6 big old episodes?
Yeah, so we're going to leave that up to you guys to decide. Do you want us to come back and finish this next week or even another week? We will, but we're not happy about it if we do. And it'll probably be just one episode where we smoosh them all in. But I
Yeah.
guess I do want to know, how did Black Bolt escape the prison? I'm guessing he spoke and blasted the wall out.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, because he can do that. Because
He very easily,
He
yeah.
flips a car at one point. He
Yeah.
mashes his parents.
Does he get bonked on the head?
I think he does get bonked on the head.
Wow.
Remember when
Maybe he
goes,
gets a second bonk on the head and that restores
second bonk?
everything. Second bonk.
He used to do that to Triton. No,
Yeah.
not Triton. Tattoo face man who said he's going to kill that servant.
Yep.
Whatever his name is.
That's right.
Great.
Karnak.
Thanks. Let's make sure we take note of that for next week if we come back. Anyways, just interestingly, Jeff Loeb, who was a big creative driving force behind this, he dreamed of a world where Daisy from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would cross over with Black Bolt and say something
yeah,
like,
right.
"You aren't the king of me." And we never got that, tragically.
wow. It's a
Maybe we
shame.
do in these next episodes. We don't.
Oh.
But can you imagine a world where that happens?
Yep.
Oh, me too, actually.
2 actors in a room, having one of them says one line. I can imagine that, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I've seen TV before.
Much to the chagrin of us, the people talking in this video, James and Mason, hello.
Hello, everybody. Like Captain Christopher Pike of the USS Enterprise, we're going to boldly go where no man has gone before and watch the remaining episodes of Inhumans, the TV series. A 5-year mission, it seemed like.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? The audacity of making these 43 or 47 minutes long each. Because with the new Marvel stuff, you get 22 minutes of this and that's it.
That's all you get, and that's all you deserve.
But when I started up episode 3, and I know that they made these and released them in, 2017, the idea that there were more of these, I'm just like, when did they make these? How did this happen?
Did they? I'm really not sure. Did they make them all in one huge block?
Seems
and
that
then they're
way.
like, well, we made them all. We have to release them,
There
right?
would have to be, because otherwise they wouldn't keep making these, would they? Anyway, leave a like, especially for Ben, who's editing these videos. He made a personal plea that he not have to watch the remaining episodes. And people decided.
They decided we hate Ben. Hashtag we hate Ben, they said. There was a concerted campaign on Twitter.
Also, just a little thing. This is nothing. The title sequence is awful. I genuinely went, I should go on Fiverr and just get someone to knock one up.
A slightly better version.
I did it because that would involve me thinking about the Inhumans more than I have to.
And spending $5.
And spending
quite
$5.
frankly, that'd just be adding insult to injury at this point. And the theme is just the start of the Avengers theme, but then the composer just sort of forgot where it went and just went, just a bit of noodling?
So we are doing episodes 3 to 8. capping off the Inhumans for good. Hopefully. I hope they never make anything Inhumans ever again at the risk of something like this popping up. You know, I don't need
You'd
it.
rather they just don't reintroduce
bin
the
it all.
Inhumans. Like, yeah, fair enough.
Let the past die.
The remainder of this series, for the most part, is separate little adventures. Because that's what you want in a team-up series or movie. You know what I mean? Just split them all up and have them run around in the forest, which I guess is very X-Men in a way, because most of the X-Men movies are running around in a forest.
Well, that is true.
So I've broken it down into story beats.
Okay, please.
All right, so we're going to go character by character.
Little adventures.
That's right, before they converge, because they have to converge eventually.
And the Inhumans' big adventure.
That's right, and then they use all their powers together to... Just kidding, they don't. It doesn't happen.
A lot of characters lose their powers in the previous 2 episodes we mentioned and just never get them back.
No.
Really, or sort of get them back. One character's legs change. He's just got regular legs. He starts out with goat legs, and then for the rest of the series, just got
boots.
regular legs. I wound it back. I'm like, is there a scene that I skipped out on because I was not paying a huge amount of attention,
No.
where like his DNA gets altered by his dip into the ocean,
Nope.
or his legs fall off and they put regular wooden legs on him or something? Nah, they're just like. Could be tricky for this guy to fight in action sequences with those weird goat leg stilt things. Just say he has regular legs
I
now.
presume it's some kind of boot disguise, but like...
Oh, yeah, no, it's a boot disguise.
I mean, that's not what it is. But can you imagine him clopping through a forest in like little cow stilts?
The actor breaking his ankle
Yeah,
every
impossible.
couple of steps? No.
Couldn't do it. And
They need the line. Better put on my boot disguise so these dudes from Hawaii aren't scared by my goat legs.
even though they immediately figure out who I am when they find me in the ocean.
If I put on my boot disguise, they'll immediately embrace me like a brother, and they'll want to just fight for me and just machine gun people at random, just at my whim.
Because we're all soldiers, I guess.
Are we
But also
talking
the
about-
people... Let's talk about Cowhoof Man.
Gorgon is who
Yeah.
we're talking about.
So his story is that he teams up with some people from Hawaii. And
I mean, initially he goes into the ocean, as we mentioned, and
Yeah,
immediately
yeah.
nearly drowns.
Yeah.
Then he comes out, and these guys from Hawaii are like,
surfs up.
surf's up, and like you, we once had a king, so we will support you without question.
Yeah.
Even though you could be from an invading alien army, which in a way you are.
That's right. So it also has one of my favorite moments from this series, a flashback to where he steals the American flag from the moon. He's like, look what I found. It was just out there. Come on, man. Like, how much of a moron would you have to be to actually take that genuinely?
Oh, a big moron.
He'd have to be a big moron. Which I guess is why he dies, stamping the ground, which is his thing. The one thing that he does. And I think the one effect they can kind of do, because you can do that in-app. Have you noticed that?
Oh, I guess that's
That's
true,
like
yeah.
a filter you could do in like a VFX app.
Well, actually, there is one other great effect in his little story, which is that one of the soldiers that is after him, she has the incredible inhuman ability to make stagehands from slightly out of shot pull a bunch of plants
Yes, that's right.
apart. It's incredible.
Incredible.
She's like, I'm going to focus all my powers. Now you, surly tradesman, move these plants.
The incredible thing about that is as well, it's like 30 seconds. Like they could just go vroom. But you really see how cheap it is because you see all the plants like fold back very slowly.
Well, the Teamsters are being paid by the hour.
Oh, that makes sense actually when you think about it. Anyway, he dies. A roof collapses on him. But then he comes back because of Terrigen mysteries, which I guess we'll talk about. Black Bolt, his
The little adventures of Black Bolt.
so his adventures is having a mate and experiments, I guess.
Yeah, so he gets arrested.
Oh, also and running around in a forest or jungle. That for everybody.
Everybody's running around at some point. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. He gets thrown into jail.
Yep.
But fortunately, he gets thrown into a jail where there's already an existing Inhuman.
Yeah, Hot
who's in the
Hands.
jail. Hot Hands is in the jail.
Yeah.
And so a doctor calls up Hot Hands and he's like, "Listen, Hot Hands, you don't know me, but I need you to do me this favor. Use your hot hands." To team up with Black Bolt, real name Blackagar Boltagon.
Correct.
Not a joke. Sounds like a dumb thing we would say on this.
Yeah.
Or anything, but it's his real name. Go get him and team up with him, become his best friend in jail, and then escape the jail with him, and then we'll come and get you in a helicopter, and then we can use science all together, you know?
To recreate Inhuman stuff. He's doing it for the bad guy, which again will.
Oh, that's right. There's gonna be a betrayal at some
It's a
point.
big betrayal.
Because this guy gets him out of jail.
Yeah, exactly.
And Black Bolt has lost his wife. He doesn't know where his wife is.
Yeah.
And so the doctor's like, maybe if she's an Inhuman, maybe she's on my database of incredible Inhumans with incredible powers. Check it out on this iPad. And then he's like, all right, is it lady with the long fingers?
No.
Is it big mouth girl?
No.
Is it weird fake tan girl?
No.
Is it another 1-inch spike man?
Oh my goodness!
A la X-Men 3. Oh, side note, there is a moment right at the start of episode 3 where they're like, this guy Black Bolt, he's we got to watch out for him because look at this footage of him destroying these police cars and being in an altercation with the police, and it's just footage from the previous episode.
I hate that.
Like,
That is like my least favorite thing.
They're like, we've got this cell phone footage of him running amok on the streets, and it's just professionally edited footage from the previous episode. Hate it.
It's one of my least favorite things in anything.
Even in this?
Even in this.
One of the worst shows ever
Just
made.
the laziness. Like a good example of that is, you know, the Luke Skywalker reveal in The Mandalorian, right? The footage that they're watching on the monitors isn't the same footage that the audience sees when it cuts to him, of like panning and all this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's security footage.
It's just lazy.
Just put some grain on it at least, so it looks like it's been filmed on a phone.
Exactly. Anyway, we get a bit of a backstory about Black Bolt. He doesn't want to be king. We also find out, which was a shock to me, that when he killed his parents, he'd already been told to not speak because he'd kill somebody. And he does
They
it
said,
anyway.
no doubt this. Don't speak.
But the reveal is also...
They get a little bit of pop culture from Earth.
It's a good album, maybe.
It's so eclectic, but it's cohesive.
One of the reveals is that Maximus kind of set him up to do that to his parents. But not really.
The genetic council were like, we're going to absolutely like lobotomize your kid.
Yeah.
How about sign off on this? We're definitely going to do this. And his parents are like, well, think about it. But then Maximus is like, I'll fake the signature.
I'll do it, yeah. So also one of the things happens is Maximus gets the genetic council killed. Side note, side story, little adventure. It's like when the council dies on Krypton. It's like, good. Like,
Sure,
these people should be dead. They shouldn't exist. They're just like upholding ridiculous bureaucracy.
They're misery merchants.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
They're sending people into the booth, giving them weird like projector eyes or like bear claws or whatever, and then being like, well, you suck, down the mines you go.
And what's incredible is because every time somebody goes in, they're like, we don't know what they're going to get. Sometimes a guy will come out and his entire face is a laser and he kills everybody in the room, right? But with every ceremony that we see in this show, there's just 12 people standing around going, oh, very good. It's like, what if it's another fucking face laser guy? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever.
It's a bad system in a way.
In a way, yeah.
There should be a guy who wants to get rid of it. But he's kind of rude and loud and mean, so I guess why would you support that guy? Or
That's a
follow
really
him in
good
any
point.
way?
Yeah, exactly. So Medusa, her story is being a bad friend.
Now, in the previous video we did, in the first 2 episodes we watched of this show, it seemed to be that Medusa wasn't clueless about the ways of Earth.
Yeah.
But I think they decided it was more interesting if she just was again.
Just like when she goes to the ATM and goes, I'm the queen.
Give me some
Give
money.
me some money.
So she knows what money is.
Yes.
But she thinks that if you approach an ATM that clearly says insert card, you just say that you're the queen of another planet and it gives you money.
That's how it works, yeah.
So instead of being, you know, a knowledgeable, powerful Inhuman with incredible hair-based powers, instead she's just a fairly unbalanced, shaven-head lady who has a laser gun sometimes.
Yes.
That's a whole deal.
And
she's just breaking into houses.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? She's a thief. And she's a bad friend. Like, she keeps going to that friend and being like, can you help me? And then the friend helps and she's like, great, I'm going. And then she'll steal the car.
It's almost like once these people are stripped of their powers and their royal titles, they're just bad people.
It's almost like that, isn't it? Also, one of the reveals of that character is that her parents were banished for doing the same thing Maximus did, and then she just married Black Bolt and just became the regular queen and just upheld all the order. And they try to justify it to be like, no, she was actually seeing the humanity in Black Bolt. Bullshit. You took an opportunity to be like, I could be queen, so I'm just going to do that and not change anything. You're sold out.
That's right. This show is all about upholding the honor of your parents if you're Black Bolt, but if you're not, don't worry about it.
What I think is also an incredible crime of this character in relation to her being a bad friend, when they go back to the moon. The woman's like, I want to go to the moon. All I want to do is go to the moon. Take me to the moon. And she's like, no, you have to stay in this barn and explain to the police that there wasn't a big dog in here. Or you all could leave. And then when they open the door,
there'd be nobody there.
There's nobody there.
Nobody there at all.
Speaking of, there's a side story that's just a big dog in a barn.
That's true. I mean, you know, some of the Inhumans get boyfriends and or girlfriends.
It's
I mean,
right,
that
yeah.
happens. And one of those is Crystal.
Yep.
She gets a cool quad bike riding guy who just loves to swim in the middle of crises.
Yep.
He just loves to just get out there and be like, hey man, hang loose, chill out.
Just chill out for once.
I mean, sure, your parents and your family are missing because, like, somebody wants to murder them all.
Chill out.
Just take some time. Just have a little skinny
That's
dip
what we
in the
say
ocean.
here. We say chill out.
Just say chill out. Don't even worry
Give me a
about
high
it.
five and chill out with me.
Yeah, and she's like, ooh, this guy's got something going on. I think it might be a brain damage from that time he fell off his quad bike.
So we've also got, the guy you mentioned? The guy who could sort of see the future.
Karnak.
Karnak. So he,
I think you fell off maybe the side of a hill in Hawaii and hit your head, because you can never remember this guy's name.
I really can't. It's not just him though.
And that's what he did. He fell off the side of a hill and he hit his head and his incredible powers disappeared, and then he just decided to be a sad sack loser.
Yeah. And then he cut a bullet in half, and I'm like, great, his powers are back. Not really.
Shot his girlfriend.
Shot his girlfriend.
That's what happened there.
He's using some powers like a little bit later. Again, he's probably got the most visually interesting and compelling power to observe unfold.
Yeah.
They just don't really do it.
And like a lot of these Inhumans, he shows up and he's like, I'm clearly unbalanced and dangerous. And somebody's like, ooh, so intriguing. I want to be friends or more with this person.
I like that his side adventure is, I guess, guys who are growing marijuana, where he has to defeat an evil Nathan Drake. That's the situation.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, he hooks up with the ganja guys and they're like, we're weird and dangerous.
Yeah, that's right. But love.
But love also, yeah.
And what happens to her? She's just like, I can't be in love anymore. And she just wanders off into the forest.
Because it's hang loose, baby.
Just chill out, it's Hawaii.
That's right, it's the spirit of Hawaii, baby.
I know it's not real.
Do you think Hawaii must have got a tax credit for this?
I hope so.
And I think they were in exchange. They were like, you got to make sure the spirit of Hawaii permeates this whole show. You know?
can certainly feel that.
Free love, baby.
Just chill out.
Hang loose.
Hang 10.
That's right.
So
Eat a moco loco, which is a rice and eggs based dish.
that sounds really good.
Delicious.
I've been to Hawaii. It's very nice. Anyway, I want to talk about a few of the minor players. So there's a bunch of generic bad guys that that are running around the forest also. One of them is Mortis. I just want to say, nice outfit, Mortis. Really cool. You look like a fucking idiot in your garbage bag suit.
Is that a Dead Space cosplay? You haven't finished it yet? Is that what's happening there?
Bad, awful. Also, he's not that bad a guy, but everyone's like, he's the worst guy we know with his big laser face, and we locked him away. And then later you find out he's just like, why'd you lock me away? I didn't want to be locked away. You could have not locked me away. You didn't lock away Black Bolt. And they're nah, we're going to kill you though.
I mean, Black Bolt, if he like whispers in his sleep, he could kill everybody. I can just put this mask on and everything's fine. I can sleep in this. It's fine. You know, I'll just sleep on my back.
Yep. Nah, fuck him, right?
Yeah.
Because it's good to have powers unless you've got too much powers.
And
you're not the king.
Where's his sexy face? Can't see it.
It's probably so sexy.
Throw him in the mines.
Yeah. There's also Eldrak, which is a sad face in the wall, which you haven't mentioned yet.
Teleporting wall.
Teleporting wall
hole.
man.
Mm-hmm.
So I did some research on this guy. He hates teleporting people because it hurts a lot. What they've actually done to this person, according to the comics, he's actually like a whole stone man, and they just built him into the structure, the
they bricked him
foundation.
up. Wow.
So like, you probably didn't have to do that.
No, could have let him live his life.
But of course, we get the return of the greatest villain in all of Marvel history, and by villain I mean obvious hero, Maximus.
Well, James, he's not the obvious hero because over the course of the series he gets increasingly sweaty.
Yeah.
And he has like darker rings around his eyes.
But also people constantly betray him, and his main motivation we find out is because when he went to become an Inhuman, get his Inhuman powers or whatever.
He just became a regular human.
Yeah. And so he wants to like give that another go, and they're like, no, the council says you can't. Just let him do it.
Just do it when everybody's asleep, I reckon. All you have to do is stand in a booth and stick a crystal in there.
Yep. So I think he's a bit of an earth weeb, this guy. Because we looked at like, he had the hair clippers. Where are you getting those? I think he's collecting trinkets. And one thing that Ben furiously messaged me over private DMs messages was that he uses PayPal to pay the scientist.
Does he really?
He
Wow.
does, yeah.
How do you know Maximus?
He paid for all this research.
How? He lives on the fucking moon!
I love the increasingly wild justifications why he is still the villain in this. There's at one point one of his soldiers is speaking to Medusa and is like, you know, we're gonna free the people from your horrible reign, Medusa. And Medusa's like, well, sure. I mean, you know, we do oversee this caste system, which is kind of, you know, making your whole life a misery, but Maximus did force you to come down here and stop us, didn't he? So in
that's
a
a
way,
really good point,
who's
yeah.
the real villain, you know?
Yeah. What about all the people you sent to Earth for various missions?
But also, they're like, we forbid you to do another Terragenesis because that would be awful. It would destroy
They go
our society.
mad maybe for a bit.
And then Karnak just brings Gorgon back, and Medusa's like, we'll have words about this later. Okay, cool. So there's no consequences.
It's fine,
Great.
is it? Yeah. They might go mad for a little bit. One of my favorite moments in this, and favorite because obviously it's bad,
Go on.
is when he takes the scientist, Desmond from Lost.
it
There's
is
a few
him.
Lost alumni in this.
Well, they're still hanging out in Hawaii.
Exactly. 1-inch Spikes guy, Desmond, probably others. I just need to clarify, yeah, we know it's the same guy from X-Men. We know.
Yeah.
we get messages. But when he first sees the Terrigenesis chamber, he's like, oh my God, it looks like a phone booth. Which of course, like, yeah, it does. Like, it looks like shit. But Maximus goes, no, it's far more than that. Obviously. Those things are so far removed where you wouldn't be like, yeah, I see what you're saying, but it's more than that. We fucking know.
It's got Skype. I know all the apps. I use them because I'm an Earth weeb.
Anyways, it looks like shit. I know you have feelings though about his political plan and how things went awry for him. And maybe he's a bad guy, but maybe he's not a bad guy.
Well, I mean, he's a good guy. I mean, again, he's just mean and he's rude a little bit because his plan is to get all the Inhumans to Earth where they would have bountiful lands to live free and shout at ATMs and etc. And it is a good plan, and it's better than a bunch of people working in the mines.
Yep.
And eventually, what happens is he forces the hand of the royal family, who are like, it seems as if this grassroots campaign to get everybody to Earth is popular, and also our society's crumbling. So how about we go to the people and we make a speech about how this was our plan all along? This is actually
It's our idea, actually.
We're actually we're gonna go through with this, but not with that meanie.
Yeah.
That meanie's not going to be with us, so don't even worry about it. It's bloody establishment politics is what it is, James.
100%.
Sorry to get political, but it's almost like the ruling class were like, oh, this little campaign that the people have started. Well, we'll be in more trouble if we don't.
Yeah.
Do it than if we do. So I guess hashtag teleport to Earth through a man who's a wall for all. You know what I mean, James?
I know what you mean.
God damn it.
Ridiculous.
Makes me angry.
Yeah, and fair enough. But I guess they came back and they learned some lessons from Earth.
I don't think they did.
No, they really did. Hang 10 though, chill out.
I know, chill
Just
out. That's
chill
probably
out.
true, yeah.
Here's a question though, and look, there's probably an answer in the show. You know that pond that they have, the one pond?
Yeah.
There's two people in white robes that just sit in front of it.
Uh-huh.
What is that?
Good question.
Is it an interface? But is it like a Minority Report situation?
I was just thinking
What
it's a
is that?
Minority Report situation, but they need a third guy.
Yeah.
And they're just waiting for the third guy to be Terrigenesis so they can all see the future or whatever.
Well, I think if you're waiting for a third guy to do some Minority Report stuff, into the mines. Like, make use of you until the third guy turns up. I bet they're drinking that water when no one's in the room. They're like, ooh, all this water is ours. Yum, yum, yum. So there's the promise in this series of Black Bolt's powers. You get a hint at it when he goes, oof, and the car goes flip, 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 flip.
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
So the whole time they're like, this guy's more dangerous than anybody. If he unleashes his power, the whole city could collapse. Everybody would be crushed under rubble and so sad. And it would be sad, wouldn't it?
Yeah, all right.
Because he's dangerous and it's sad or
That's
whatever.
true.
And then we finally
And he's an idiot.
So the reveal of his power at the end is he decides to trap Maximus on the moon in a bunker so he's safe with food forever. And then he comes out and he goes, goodbye, brother, or whatever. And then like some rocks and concrete crumble down. And that's the only real use of his powers that we see. It's not even that spectacular at all. I want to see him like in a combat situation. Just do something else with it than that. Are you fucking kidding me? We waited 8 episodes for that.
Yeah, but then the budget ran out.
Yeah, I forgot the budget ran out. That's why that dog's in the barn so much.
That's exactly right, yes.
Yeah. And then, of course, I'm waiting for, like, the return of Medusa. I thought, like, she was going to get some kind of Terrigenesis transformation or something happens.
Mohawk, perhaps?
Mohawk, whatever. You know, like, they're in a situation where it's like, oh, my powers are remanifesting because I'm threatened or whatever.
Now I've got a pixie cut.
Yeah, nothing
I'm
like that.
Karening all over the place.
Yeah. Just at the end, they all stand on a football field and go, we made it to Earth, except for the rock guy. But we
Made it to Earth, and it's all our doing.
Yeah, that's right. We did it. And
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're very much welcome. It didn't get better, did it?
Really did not.
Yeah,
no.
like I certainly fell into a rhythm with it where it just kind of washed over me at a certain point.
I did a lot of yelling at the TV.
Yes. I also did another bit of a deep dive on Disney Plus because I noticed these episodes actually do have recaps. Because I guess
Yep.
that these were released week to week, I assume, when they came out. So that's why
There's
they're
no
there.
way of knowing.
No, there really
No
isn't.
one watched it. No one will admit to watching it.
Yeah,
So.
but when you search for Inhumans on Disney Plus, you get one result. It's not like, also, are you thinking about X-Men? Are you thinking about various animated series or whatever? Maybe you want some other MCU stuff going on. Maybe an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because that has Inhumans in
That's
it,
true,
right?
yeah.
Nothing. It's like, there's one result. This is definitely not linked to anything else. So I tested this for a few other things, including Cars. So if you search for Cars, you get all the Cars properties and all the Cars spin-offs, and then you just get like, The Mandalorian. You know what I mean? It's
Sure.
like Cars, but The Mandalorian.
Land speeders are like cars.
Yeah, I think they really just want to be clear that, like, this is definitively not linked to anything else. Even though we know it's definitely not linked to The Mandalorian, and you know that, we're not going to chance that that's also going to show up in the search results for the Inhumans.
Fascinating.
Fascinating.
This goes deep.
It certainly does. I hate it.
Yeah, it sucks. It's a bad
Yeah,
show. It's a shame.
and I'm sorry to anybody who worked on this, because it's obviously not your fault.
You get let in to the world that you're watching. It's going to give everything a much larger scale, which is really exciting.
You know Liv Hewson, who's in this.
I do. That's true.
Who plays the girlfriend who's...
The Vengeful Vet.
The Vengeful Vet. Did much better stuff, thank God, than
Check
this.
out Santa Clarita Diet on Netflix. Great show.
They're just no good. And hopefully this kind of new age of Marvel television and, you know, the new phases that we're rolling into, I think lessons were learnt, right?
One would hope so.
One would hope so.
I mean, they certainly didn't give the showrunner another show.
Oh.
Can you imagine, James? Can you imagine being handed the keys to a Marvel property for a full TV series and you mess up so badly they give you another show?
Yeah.
It was Iron Fist. The show Iron Fist.
Iron Fist isn't as bad as this.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Anyways, this has been Caravan of Garbage. We do this every week. And also, if you want to see these videos early, you can actually go to bigsandwich.co and sign up if you want. It's like a Patreon tier, but we control all of it, don't we, Mason?
Yeah, that's right. Like Vengeful Royals.
That's right.
We're definitely in the wrong. What we say goes. So
Exactly,
tough.
yeah. But it's not just early episodes. It's also bonus podcasts, including our clickbait show, including our time capsule where we take a look at a year in pop culture. We do a comic book club.
That's right.
And we do a whole bunch of movie commentaries.
That's right. We have a grand old time.
We did X-Men Origins, Wolverine Origins, didn't we?
It sucks. It's a bad movie.
It's better than
if
this.
you like things that suck, Marvel properties that suck and are bad, sign up at bigsandwich.co.
It's right there for you to check out. Also, we have a podcast called The Weekly Planet where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. Comes out every week, doesn't it? Every
That's
Monday,
right.
check it out. News of the week, we do a topic. Yes! And goodbye. No more Inhumans. We did it.
That's right. As we say every week, hang loose, baby. It's the spirit of Hawaii.
Chill out.
Chill out,
Just
dude.
chill out.
It's also called Loco Moco. I mucked up though.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to get that out there. I've been thinking about it for like 10 minutes. But it's a delightful rice and egg-based dish.
I'm getting into it.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm chilling out.
Chill, it's the spirit of Hawaii, baby.